Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name's Alondra and this is my boyfriend slash baby daddy.
Hello. Nah, I'm Jose. Pretty sure some people know me.
Yeah.
Because I've been in previous videos.
Yeah, for those who are subscribers already, you guys probably already know who he is. For those who didn't know him, that's who he is. This is the father of Ailani, which is who we'll be talking about today. And so this is gonna be pretty much almost like a series, I guess. I don't know what I would call it. I mean, because we're not always gonna be talking about this in every video I upload, but it's going to be videos. There's going to be videos where I only talk about.
They're gonna be in order.
Yeah, they're gonna be episode 1, episode 2, and so it's pretty much gonna be. They're not gonna be back to back. They're gonna be like all over the place sometimes, and I just wanted to put that out there so that everybody is not like, well, how do I find the third episode, you know? It's always going to be named Ailani's Autistic Journey episode 1 and episode 2 and episode 3. To just get right into it, we have she's our first daughter. Her name's Ailani Aguilera. She is 4 years old, and she's autistic. And we want to talk about, you know, how... Her journey, and that's, yeah, exactly. And the reason why we want to talk about this is for awareness, because a lot of people always ask me, how did you find out? How did you know she was autistic? Like, what are the signs? Everything about it. And so a lot of people also requested me to record it and upload it so that way when people ask me, I don't always have to repeat myself. I can just send them to this video. And we're just gonna pretty much start from there. So the first things we noticed about Ailani that we thought were different.
No, I mean, the one thing I noticed early on was that she had like a really short fuse. Like, she'll get mad really
like bad
fast.
temper.
Yeah, she'll rage like really fast. I mean, I used to think it was funny because, you know, I didn't really know much about it. I just thought she was just a mean little kid.
Yeah, she was months old when she did that. She did it to his cousin. And then we all thought it was cute. That was one of the first signs Jose noticed, the speaking, because I remember the doctor asking me like how much does she talk, her milestones, yeah. Does she talk? What words does she say? And she never really had a big vocabulary.
Nope.
And so
she was always behind.
Always behind.
She would always tell, oh, she has to be able to say this and this much or this much, and then it was. Yeah, like my mom always told me like every kid's different. Like stop comparing her. Jose would tell me the same thing. Yeah. And so I was like, okay, maybe I'm just overthinking it. Maybe the way she had to be fed could have been another thing. Yeah, but we didn't see that as a sign. No, but I'm saying that could have been an early sign that we just didn't think of. The texture. Because she was real sensitive to texture. She didn't like being fed by spoon or fork. We had to feed her with a syringe. I think I have some videos of me feeding her food.
There's like 100 animals to make you guys. Hell, you know when we're married, you're not gonna...
I don't even know how old she was.
She was months old. She was barely...
No, I mean to like what point we had to...
She was only a couple of months old. She wasn't like 11 months old eating out of a syringe. No. She was like months old where we would give her Gerber, yogurts, anything that we could pick up with the syringe and feed her, she would eat out of that. And a lot of people would be like, well, what the hell? Why are you giving her out of that? And
a lot of people would like talk.
A lot of people would...
Judge.
Well, I don't know if it'd be judgmental, but... They would tell me like, why do y'all feed her like that? Well, she doesn't like the spoon. We would try the spoon, she never wanted it.
It was funny because that same food that was in the syringe, we would put on a spoon and try for like 10 minutes straight, wouldn't take it. But as soon as we put it in a syringe,
she'd eat it.
She ate it like nothing.
And you know, all we wanted was for her to eat the food, so we just fed it to her like that. And so that's probably one of the signs we could have taken, but I didn't really take it. I was like, well, my baby likes being fed a syringe. What can I do, right?
I just thought she was picky because I'm picky, so I was like, maybe she's just picky, you know?
Yeah, and so then I think the next sign you can look for is flapping hands, flapping feet, because she would do this months old.
She did that real early.
Yeah, she would always be flapping her hand. She would flap her feet on the bed, and
oh yeah, her feet. She'll fucking pop.
Well, she still does it, but that's one of the. I think one of the earliest things that you can look for.
Because I I'm sorry I cooked you up. I used to get really mad about that. Because we lived in a third floor apartment, and she would sit on the carpet and bang, 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 and bang her feet, and I'll be like, Nani, stop. Like, we have neighbors, but she wouldn't even realize it.
Yeah, it's just a stimming thing that autistic kids do. I think that's one thing you guys could look for if you are worried about your kid being autistic, is that the stimming is spinning around, flapping hands, flapping feet. But in Ailani's case, it was flapping hands and flapping feet. And that was probably one of the signs I could have taken, but I was a first-time mom. I didn't know what autism was, and I thought my baby was just normal and different. That's all I thought.
Yeah.
And so I think that's just one of the things you guys can look for. I'm gonna try to see if I have any videos of me recording her or when she would flap her hands and her feet when she was way smaller.
We do. We should have some.
So that I can enter it in this video so you guys could see what I'm talking about. She does still do that, in case you're wondering. She does still flap her hands and flap her feet.
Oh, yeah.
And now she tries Ailani, say hi! To spin in circles, which is also another stimming.
She was doing that today.
Yeah. She also was late on walking and crawling. Yeah.
Oh! Okay, go back to mommy. She likes it. Go back to mommy.
She didn't crawl until she was a year, and that was because of our apartment. But she crawled late. She didn't crawl until she was a year old, because that's how old she was when we first moved into our first.
Oh yeah.
Not our first apartment, but our first apartment as family.
Mm-hmm.
And then she walked really late. She was a year and a half, 18 months when she started walking, and that is because we caught her, not because we taught her.
Yeah, it was.
She always liked to learn things on her own.
Like by saying we caught her, we mean like we would try to get her to walk maybe like for 2 months prior. Like, come on, honey, let's walk. She just wouldn't have it.
She didn't want to do anything.
I don't know if it was her or me. We passed by her room, and we could have sworn we saw her walking. And then when we look back, she'll drop herself on the ground.
Because she's seen us looking.
Because I don't know if that's an autistic thing, but they're very, very, very shy. Like if it's something they enjoy, and you try to enjoy it with them, they'll stop. They don't they'll shy away.
Well, at least that's how she was.
But she was shy desde bien chiquita.
Oh yeah, she was very shy.
We would take pictures and she was.
That could be just who she is as a person. I have photos I'll show you guys on here. Everything's gonna be about her, so I'm gonna insert as much as I can so you guys can physically see it from her. And socializing started.
This is up to like a year and a half.
Yeah, so then socializing is when I started noticing more too. We would go out, or like she would be with her cousins, and she wouldn't really like to play with them. She didn't like to share. She was very upset when people would grab her stuff.
And at that age, she already knew how to fully use an iPad.
I didn't. Yeah, she knew how to use an iPad. We gave her an iPad when she was.
Go through histories, find what she was looking for.
We had given her an iPad when she was a year old, or maybe like 11 to 12 months old, which is a year. She learned everything by herself, guys. Like, I started downloading a lot of games for her. If you guys have been following me for a while, I've posted it on my Snapchat before, like the things I've downloaded for her, so that she can advance herself. And I would show her, and she instantly like this. And if she wouldn't figure it out, she'd be there for hours. Yeah, so I would download a lot of games, so she knew how to control an iPad. And then the socializing is when I was starting to notice she didn't like to be around people or play with people. And she didn't like people bothering her, touching her, nothing. And so everybody would leave her alone. They respected it. But I think that's when I got a little worried, because I was like, why doesn't she want to socialize? Like, because I see kids her age and they were not like her. And
but we always went back to the.
But Jose would always tell me, like,
because I'm like that.
You would tell me, like, I never thought it was normal. I was a little worried for her. like, I was wondering why she was like that, and he was the one always telling me, like, it's because I'm antisocial, like, you know, she probably got it from me. Yeah, so I was like, okay, then maybe she's antisocial.
Nani reminds us a lot of, like me. She has a lot of things that I have.
I think she turned 2, and that was my main concern, was when she was playing and she didn't like to share. She would get crazy mad. And as she got older, her tantrums got worse.
But have in mind, we didn't know about the sharing because she was an only child, so we never really saw it.
Well, no. She didn't want to share with Camila. Yeah. I had already seen the sharing part, but the sharing was never really an alarming thing for me because I knew that I could work on that with her. As her mom, I could show her like she needed to share, and I just never really cared for that part. But
we thought it was that single child syndrome that's why she didn't share. She wasn't used to it. That's what we thought.
So then she turned 2, and the socializing was still like an alarming thing for me. And then I remember I told my mom, like, I told her I had brought it up to her doctor. Like, I was worried because, you know, she was very angry all the time with people, and like she didn't want nobody to talk to her or touch her. And the doctor always told me, like, because I would always tell her, like, well, bitch, my boyfriend was always like that, or is like that all the time too. So I don't know if maybe it's just because that's how he is and that's how she is. And she never told me, like, she's autistic. She never told me anything like that. Like, she never thought anything of it. And
she
so
just
then...
thought Nani was behind.
Yeah, she just thought Nani was delayed in things, but she was never worried. So she always thought Nani was behind, and that was that. And then I remember my mom, we were at her house, and we were watching Ailani play, and I was just telling her, like, I'm concerned. She gets really mad lately, and I don't know what to do. And my mom started noticing it, too, because, like, Ailani had a lot of bad tantrums as she got older. And I started crying a lot. I started having a lot of meltdowns because I didn't know what to do, and I didn't like how Jose wanted to handle situations. My mom noticed it, and I told her, and then she told me, I think she's autistic. And I was like, what is that? And she told me...
She knew somebody, right?
Yeah, her ex-best friend, actually. I don't know if they're still best friends. But her kids are... She has, I think, 2 autistic kids. And she told me that she was always around them, so she knew what they would do and how they would act and how they would play and stuff. And she says Ailani reminded her of them and how they were. So she thought Ailani might be autistic, and she told me, and I was like, what is that? She told us
this for a while, too.
Yeah, Ailani was 2 when she told me. So then...
She always bring it up.
Yeah, I told her what's autism, and she told me to look it up, to look into it, and to educate myself. So then I went home and I would educate myself on it. I would read a lot about it, and I would tell Jose, but Jose was always in denial, I guess I could say. I don't like saying that because I feel like I'm judging him.
I mean, I was.
He wasn't.
I just didn't. My mindset was like, I don't want to label my kid. You know, if she's behind, let her be behind. You know? Mm-hmm. That was always my thought process. I was just like, my thought process was, she's a kid. It's not a race. She'll learn and she'll catch up.
Exactly. He just didn't want to judge her, pretty much. He just wanted to say, let her be how she is, and she'll learn on her own.
Yeah.
And so I was always like, okay. He would always tell me, like, don't overthink it, like, stop judging her. And I was always like, okay, I just won't judge her. So I told my mom, I told the doctor, I think at her 3-year visit, and I told her, does she have autism? Because, you know, my mom says she might have autism, but I would also explain to her how Jose was. She called her by her name, and Ailani did respond. She looked at her in her eyes, and she's like, she's not autistic because autistic kids do not respond to their name, and they don't look at you or make eye contact. And I was like, okay. And I was convinced because she's a doctor. That's what she looked at, the eye contact.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay. So she convinced me that Ailani was fine. She was just delayed. I do want to mention we did switch doctors because Ailani had this doctor when I used to live on the other side of town. She had this doctor over there, and I loved her because she was always focused on Ailani, always knew when she was delayed and what she wanted to do to get her to, you know, be better at everything. And then she turned 1 year when we moved over here all the way to the other side of town.
It was too much of a drive.
And we started going to her doctor's appointments, but the drive was insane. Especially having Ailani in the car that long. It was like, I was telling Jose, like, I don't know, like, I think I should try to switch her doctors over here. My cousin actually referred me to this doctor. So I trust my cousin, so I was like, okay, let me go to her then. So then I went to her, and, you know, she was a really good doctor at the beginning. And I don't know if maybe, you know, I don't know. I don't want to talk bad about her because she is a good doctor. Like, she's a good doctor, but I don't know if maybe she's going through something personally or was going through something personally, but I felt like she could have helped me a little bit more to just like figure things out. I feel like I had to keep telling her like, I think she's autistic. And like, well, at the 3-year doctor's appointment, she told me she wasn't, that she was just delayed and that she would keep an eye on it. And she would just tell me like, she just really wouldn't tell me anything. And so then I think she got worse. Tantrums got worse.
Because supposedly I don't know if everybody's heard of the terrible twos.
Terrible.
Once we got past the 2, we thought she was gonna get better. Well, nah, she got worse.
She got worse, and they got worse in public.
It got to a point where we just wouldn't go out.
We didn't want to go out.
Only one of us would go.
Yeah, we would just try to avoid public.
We would always be like, what's the point? Like, now he's gonna act up.
Yeah.
Like, there's no point. We're just gonna go, and within 10 minutes, she would act up because she would see something she wanted.
And it's not that we wouldn't get it for her.
We would give it to her, and then she'll see something else.
And she wanted everything.
And something else, and something else. And then she also had this habit where she would want to grab the same things over and over again that we had already previously bought her. Like colors, crayons. We were buying the same things like 2-3 times. And to a point where we're like, man, that's too much, that's enough. Like, she has 2 of these at home. Like,
and, not to mention, guys, like, we thought she was spoiled at that point because we were
buying her everything.
We were like, dude, like, she's spoiled. Like, we get her everything. Like, that's enough. Like, we were getting on her. I think that's what makes me sad is that we would get on her. We would discipline her, and it makes me sad now thinking about it. It got worse. My mom noticed it. She kept telling me she's autistic, Alondra. She's autistic. Get her tested. And I told the doctor, but she told me nothing's wrong with her. And she's like, get a second opinion. Because check. She kept pushing me to get her.
Her doctor was not. I mean, they're not specialists in that. They're pediatricians. They don't solely focus on that. I'm pretty sure they learned it in school, but I'm pretty sure it was minimal because that's not their area of expertise.
And so then my mom kept telling me, so then Ailani turned 4 and it was time for her checkup again. So she turned 4, we went to her doctor's appointment, and I knew I was gonna bring it up because I was still worried about her. Her tantrums were getting worse and I didn't know what to do, guys. I was going crazy. And so then I brought it up.
She started hitting at that point too.
Oh yeah, she was getting aggressive.
Yeah, she was getting aggressive.
And
she was always aggressive, but I feel like
it was getting worse.
Like at the 4-year mark, it was getting really bad. Like she would smack herself. That's when we were like, oh shit, like, that's bad, because she'll just and pull her hair, and it was just, like, she'll hit herself hard. Like, I'll be like, hell no, chill out.
I also have to mention, like, within the 3-year to the 4-year, me and Jose would always talk about her. Like, I would always still mention to him, like, I don't know, something, maybe she does have autism, I kept telling him, like, maybe she has autism, Jose, like. And he kept telling me the same thing, like, stop judging her, she's probably just different, she's probably like me. And so I was like, okay, but I still had in the back of my head, man, something's probably wrong, And so then her 4-year appointment came up, and we went, and she didn't want to get tested for her hearing, and that is something they require for her to do so she can go to school. But since she didn't want to do it, the doctor told me it's fine, the school will do it if it's necessary. And I said, okay. And then I told her my concerns. I told her how Ailani was a picky eater. She didn't want to eat a lot of stuff. That her aggression was getting bad. Her tantrums were getting bad. She still wasn't socializing. They ask you all that stuff when you go to the visits. And so I told her, like, I'm concerned that she may be autistic. And so I asked her if she could refer me somewhere so I can get her evaluated. And she told me to go ahead and get her evaluated. Oh no, she actually wanted her to take, I think, speech therapy, but she needed to get evaluated or something like that. And at that time, we didn't have insurance for Ailani. So she told me, she was trying to help me out by sending me somewhere where they weren't going to charge me for it. So she's like, well, since she's 4, we're going to go ahead and get her evaluated with the school district so that if she qualifies, she can start school earlier for her age. And I said, okay, cool. So she referred me. We went to the evaluation, which took like 3 hours, I think.
3-4 hours?
Yes, and instantly in that evaluation itself, they kind of already knew she was autistic, and I kind of already knew too, because they also had brought an extra person to try to evaluate her into something else that had to do with that, which is sensory. And so then we got the results, I think, in April.
Like a month later.
Yeah. Was it a month?
It was like 3 weeks, a month. It took forever. We were just like on the edge.
Yeah, so those 3 weeks, ever since we had got her evaluated, and that time I told Jose everything about what she was doing and what they asked me, and I told him like maybe she's autistic, and then I started showing him videos.
That's when we started like doing a lot of like research.
Yeah, and I was showing him a lot of videos of autistic kids and like things autism kids do, and then he started kind of convincing himself, oh my god, I think she may be autistic, right? And so then they finally gave me a call. He was at work and they told me she is autistic. We went through the school district and we got her into school before that school year ended. She was gonna take special education classes, PPCD. It wasn't considered pre-K because she had barely turned 4 and the school year was about to end. She only went for 2 weeks. Hi, sweet girl. It's her first day of school today, guys.
And it was short days,
yeah.
Like 3 hours, 4-hour days, and that was it. One thing we forgot to mention about autistic kids that you can see early on is, I don't know, but I know it's an autistic thing, they get really attached to an item. In Nani's case, she can't let go of a certain cover. Like, this cover has to be on her 24/7. Like, that was when she was small. When she was smaller, she will not let go of it. At least now,
it's a little bit.
We can at least go in the store and leave it in the truck.
Yeah.
But it has to be near her.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it has to be there.
It has to be available. I believe she has anxiety, and I think
she does have anxiety.
I think that's what comforts her in the moment
comfort.
She's having anxiety.
And then we looked it up, and it said, yeah, they can get like real attached to an item.
She started going to PCD classes, and she was only going for 4 hours, like Jose mentioned.
Yeah. And 10 days. She went for 10 days.
For 10 days, and we
thought not even 10 days, because she left early the last week.
Oh yeah, she left like Thursday.
Yeah,
like 9
she probably
days.
went like 9 days.
Yeah, we did see a difference in those 9 days, and we also noticed she didn't cry when we dropped her off.
That's what we were scared of.
Yeah, we thought she was not gonna want to go. We thought she was gonna want the cover. We thought
that cover was our biggest fear. We were like, oh my god, she has a breakdown and she wants to cover. I mean, we're close to the school, but we were like, man.
And we were also very worried about her potty training.
Well, yeah.
Because that's another thing autistic kids
have
a problem in is toilets and going to the restroom. And Ailani was potty trained at home and at her grandma's house and at places that she was comfortable at. She hated public toilets. She's always had a very big fear of that.
It's the loud noise.
And that thing, because they're so big too. And so I remember telling the teacher the first day she went, like, she is potty trained, but I do have pull-ups on her because sometimes she's scared to go in public.
Like, she'll hold it. Even if she has to go, we could take her to a toilet, but if she's scared, it's hard to make her, like, not to make her, but it's hard for her to use the restroom. She just won't have it. She'll fight. So
I told the teacher, and she's like, okay. And then I think within that week, the first week, she told me, like, you really have to try to, help her because she was having accidents instantly when she got there. And so I was like, okay. So we were just focusing on it. So once the school year ended, all of that summer, we were just focusing on her potty training and helping her go in public restrooms. Even though I don't recommend public restrooms, I mean, it's just something for her to, so she wouldn't be scared of going in public restrooms, and so she wouldn't have that problem going to school. And so so fast forward, she's in school now, and that's another topic. So yeah, we're just gonna pretty much wrap up this video here. Why we evaluated her was because of everything she did and all the things we noticed, and my mom especially was one of the main ones pushing us to get her tested for it. And because she noticed a big difference in Ailani and knowing that she was autistic. And she knew she was autistic.
It changes your mindset a lot too. I
mean,
if any of y'all do have autistic kids or ever have some in the future, it will completely change how you see other kids crying at the store.
Every kid out there.
Because I used to be like, damn, he's a crybaby, or they can't control their kid. But now I have Nani and I see how she throws her tantrums.
Yeah, so
and
basically,
I know it's damn near impossible to stop. So now I see a kid and I'm like, man, hopefully he's fine, hopefully they can calm him down. I don't judge. I used to judge, but now I'm like, you never know, they could be autistic too, or they could have something that... You can
confuse an autistic kid to being spoiled.
Yeah.
So it's really hard. I think a lot of people, and I speak on this a lot on my Instagram. In case you don't follow me, I'm gonna put it here on Instagram. Here on the screen somewhere. I always speak on Ailani if I'm not on here on Instagram stories, and the only reason why I do is just to speak on it. Honestly, awareness. In the moment I speak on it, I have a highlight on my profile page that talks about Ailani a little bit.
But if you do have an autistic kid, you shouldn't be afraid to tell people, because I feel like it brings parents of autistic kids more together. Because I did mention this to Alondra one time that a coworker overheard me mention that my daughter was autistic, and have in mind, me and him really didn't talk at all.
We had just found out too.
Yeah, and then he overheard that, and he literally pulled me to the side by ourselves and told me like, hey man, I don't want to be nosy, but I overheard your daughter's autistic. And I was like, yeah, bro, I just found out. And he told me about his kids. Like, yeah, one of mine's autistic. And then, you know, just got really close. And that's how we were talking about comparing our kids.
And that's what I've been telling Jose, that ever since I started talking about Ailani's autism, I have a lot of mommy friends now here on, well, not here on YouTube, but on Instagram and Facebook, social media, platforms, that messaged me and told me, oh my God, my kid's autistic too. And they tell me everything they do to help their babies, or the process they've done, which is going to the doctors, which is a whole other topic. There's a lot of videos I have to do in order for you guys to understand everything that's going on in Ailani's life, but this is just the introduction. Yeah. And so I do this to, one, give awareness about not mistaking an autistic child and a spoiled kid. Two, meet new moms, meet parents that also have autistic kids, so that we can get educated from what they know, so I can know, and what I know, so they can know. And so it's a lot of just awareness, pretty much.
Have in mind, like, I'm not judging other kids, but I do have 2 little girls. An autistic kid is really hard to handle. I don't think you'll ever fully understand it unless you have your own autistic child, because we have a little one and she's going on 2 years old, and she is not as hard as Nani was.
Yeah.
Like this one, the little one is just Izzy. Her name's Izzy. The little one is just she just wants attention. But Nani was a completely different type of meltdown, tantrums.
You can tell the difference.
You can calm it down
quick.
You can distract her very easily. But with Nani, it was impossible. It's hard. Like, and maybe in the future we do have videos of Nani like having a bad meltdown. I don't know. Maybe if we kind of want to, we can post one, but I don't know. It's kind of like, I don't want her to get judged.
I have been thinking about it because I follow a lot of TikTok accounts that are autistic parents, and they like to post things like that, like to just aware people what the tantrums look like, and just overall, so you guys kind of can see a feel of what we go through. I do have a video, and the only reason why I record, honestly, it's for awareness.
Considering she's 4 years old, we probably have like 2 of her having a meltdown, and that's very little considering she'll have meltdowns like every day.
I think I would focus this on another video, but just gonna throw it out there. Try to stop judging people who have kids in public and who can control their kids crying or fighting with them, because you truly do not know what that kid is going through, whether it's them being autistic, having ADHD, or just having something, or just being spoiled. Just don't judge and just ignore it, because you're choosing to go out in public, so you know what you're getting yourself into. And you can't say, well, if your kid's crying like that, you shouldn't go out. That's not fair, because those kids deserve that social life too, and seeing the outside world. I don't think it's fair for us to always keep our kids close, even if they're autistic or spoiled or whatever the case is, because those kids still have to see the world and see what they're going to be living in, you know?
If you do think your kid's autistic,
it doesn't
my
hurt to
best
get them
advice
evaluated.
is get them evaluated, because the sooner you know, you'll think like an autistic parent, not like a regular, oh, my kid's spoiled or my kid's this. Like, you think about their sensory issues and how they handle emotions, and if your kid is autistic and you're aware of it, it'll help you a lot, because it's different techniques to calming them down and dealing with them as to somebody who's not autistic. So if you have any doubts, you don't waste your time. It took us 4 years, but that was my fault.
It's not all his fault.
I wish we would have known earlier.
I feel like it's not all his fault, but he was. I mean, even when I went to go get her evaluated, guys, I remember telling Jose, can you please go take her? Like, because I was always nervous taking her to places and to see new people because of the way she acted. And I told him.
She asked me to go because at that time, I could control her easier.
Yeah, she always wanted Jose. So I would ask him, like, can you please take her? Like, I was nervous overall about what the situation was going to look like when I took her to get evaluated. And he literally told me, you're the one that wants to get her evaluated, so you go take her. And I was like, he's a jerk because that's his kid and he should want to do that too.
But I was still in that.
I didn't care anymore. I didn't care what he thought. I was like, you know what? I'm trying to help my baby. Yeah. Whether he likes it or not, I'm going to go do it. And so I ended up taking her.
I was more angry because...
And he did end up offering it.
I felt like she was just judging me.
The next morning, you did offer it though. You did tell me, do you mind to take her? And I was like, no, it's fine. I'm going to take her. Because I like to be... Because I like to be involved with things like that because I like to ask questions and Jose just doesn't. He just kind of sits there and hears everything and that's it. But anyways, guys, I have so much to talk about Ailani. Yeah. But we can't talk about it in this video. This is just an introduction of Ailani's journey. Hopefully we're able to do it every single time together. But we do have 2 kids right now. The girls are asleep for bedtime and this is nighttime. And this is usually our time. So it's
like 3 in the morning.
No, it's not. Sometimes it's gonna be hard for us to record together, but I promise we'll get a video out. So that being said, this is the end of this video. I hope you guys found this video very informative. If you would like to stay on track with Ailani's journey or just get more information on autism and just following us by subscribing, you're going to, you know, be notified or you're gonna be able to see these videos.
Any kind of interest, you know.
Just subscribe and
learning about autistic kids.
And also another thing, you could be autistic too and you don't know. Yeah, so if you have any interest in this, please subscribe. And if you obviously want to follow our life, then subscribe too. Give this video a big thumbs up because this is going to help us to get our video thrown out there so more people can see it. And if you could leave us a comment, let us know what you guys think about this video and our new journey with Ailani here on YouTube. And leave us any questions you guys may have. We're going to try to answer them on the next video. And what are the things you guys would like to know? You know, maybe that maybe we didn't touch on in this video. And share as much as you can because you never know whose kid may be autistic and they don't know.
Or they do know, they just are scared to say it.
Yes, because I do have a mommy friend here not here on YouTube, but on Facebook that actually messaged me for the first time telling me she's scared to tell everyone in her family that her baby's autistic because of...
She'll feel judged.
She's gonna feel judged and she's gonna feel like her baby's being judged, and that's another topic. But don't be scared, guys. So
we'll talk about that soon, about how our families reacted.
We should, so anyways, that's the end of this video. Thank you so much for your time and for watching this video. And subscribe, like, comment, and share. Bye.